Welcome to the Socialize Strategy. Happy Friday. It's always a happy day for me when I get to record the podcast. And I have some really fun, unsponsored by products to talk to you about today. And also I'm going to share what we're going to tackle in the studio next, because I do think it might be relevant to many of you if you are considering diversifying into other areas. So sit down, sit tight, stick around, and let's get started. The first thing is my microphone. I want to talk about it. I feel like I might have talked about this brand before, but for a while I was very, very into the Ceremonic brand. So I'm going to tell you I was, but their microphones are so big, and I found that their wireless ones just, they weren't small, and they just were not easy to hide, or just like a low profile. They were just too much for me. So I switched over to this brand called Hollyland, and I do love the size of it. I love that it comes in a case like this. I do feel like I have talked about this before, so I'll keep it brief, but I do like this brand a lot. So I want to make sure that if you're looking for a wireless microphone and you're doing those ones from the TikTok shop or that you see on Instagram and they're like $20, a lot of them make you sound like you're underwater, and I don't love the sound. I've heard it on so many of my studio creators who had them, and I'm like, listen, I hate to be mean, but your video sounds like you're like recording with a muffler on or something, or underwater. It sounds crazy to me. And this one is clean. I also love they come with black stickers, because there is a logo on the front that normally looks like that. And even that was bothersome to me, because it would be on my shirt like that. This way, it's all black. Usually if I'm wearing black, it's pretty well hidden. So I just like that they're simply black. I like that they magnetize on to your shirt, so you can put it anywhere. You don't have to be looking for a collar to clip it. You can literally put it anywhere. You can also put it under your shirt, so you can put it on your underneath shirt, and it still picks up the sound really good. So since I have two layers here, I could put it on my underneath shirt and you wouldn't even see it. And what you need that goes with it is the thing that plugs into your phone. It comes with it, of course, but it comes with the kind for the 16, the Android, and it also comes with the original iPhone. I'm holding it up to the camera. Okay, so you do need that. Unfortunately, the case, when you get two of the microphones, it gives you this other piece. So if you're gonna record with a DSLR camera, it gives you this other piece, this receiver, and you don't need that when you're recording an iPhone. I would much prefer to have a slot for this thing, but this case doesn't have that. So I've been weirdly using this case to carry all the things. So I'm using the Ceremonic case for my Hollyland brand. So Hollyland is what you're looking for. If you're looking for wireless, Hollyland, like cute, right? Because my granddaughter's name is Holly. So now everything I call about her is like, we're in Hollyland. Anyway, Hollyland is the microphone brand. And what was the other thing I was going to say about it? Oh, but if you do want a wired one, Ceremonic makes a really nice wired one. So I do use that one when I'm quickly just needing to record and I'm going to be close to the camera. I will put that wired one on, sometimes use that on the go, especially if I'm traveling. Okie doke. So that's my microphone recap. Now let's talk about another product I use every flippin' day. And I love that I always think I'm going to run out of things, and I'm like, oh, nope, here's something I use every single day. I'm going to talk about it. And my husband bought it for me, so I'm going to give him total credit for picking out a very cool brand. And I'm going to preface this by saying I travel a lot, and I've always been looking for the perfect, you have the carry-on bag, which I use my Away, but then I need a backpack or some kind of a thing to carry with my computer and other stuff. And I've used a computer backpack for the longest time. And I don't know, he got me this for Christmas, and he said, I don't know, I just think it fits a computer, but it also has this shoulder strap and it has the backpack straps and blah, blah, blah. So let me move my microphone away for a second so I can pick it up. Hold on. All right, here it is. I'm holding it up, and it is Eastpak. That is the brand, EASTPAK. They have a flagship store in New York City, and that is where he got this. And it's got this, what do you call it? It's got the shoulder strap. So if you want to carry it like a briefcase, or just a sack where you put it over your shoulder, and it has the backpack straps. And why can I not think of what you call this strap? Just the shoulder strap can be removed. So I don't usually have the shoulder strap out. I usually use it as a backpack solely when I'm traveling. And then I put the shoulder strap on if I'm just going to use it, like, I don't know, in and out of the car or whatever, if I'm packing to go from place to place, and I just want to grab it and put it over my shoulder instead of wear it as a backpack. I love this brand. I cannot say it enough. I really have to tell you, it's It fits the right amount of things. It fits under the seat in an airplane perfectly, whereas my backpack sometimes didn't fit. So it's the width that actually works because everything spreads out a little and it goes flat. I love everything about it. It's got a zipper compartment inside. It's got the protection for the laptops, like a laptop sleeve built right into it. And it's just shocking. Somebody stopped me and said, "Oh, how do you like your Eastpak?" I was going to get one of those. And I said, "I love my Eastpak." Literally. It is just my best travel backpack. There is one thing missing from it. I always have to be honest, and I have to give you my unfiltered review. I wish it had the little slot where you can slide it onto your carry-on. You know that thing where you can slide it over the handle of the carry-on? It doesn't have that. And if they would just add that, I was trying to figure out how I can make one for it myself and attach something, because it really needs that. Because I did have one time where I wasn't holding on to the handle and the two handles, and I thought I was, and the backpack fell off. But it's fine. My computer was fine because it's protected in the sleeve in there. But I was just like, it needs that thing where it slides over the suitcase handle. It doesn't have that. But I bet you on the next one, they're going to get that right on the upgrade. So I'm going to speak to them. Anyway, love the brand, Eastpak. Okay, those are my two unsponsored by things. And if you're looking for something to travel with a computer, but be able to take other stuff, it always fits. It's funny because I carry a little purse that's just small crossbody, small, and that fits right in there. And I've always struggled with that when I go to get on the plane and they want you to take the purse and put it inside the backpack. And I'm always struggling. This one always has room for it. Just the way it's designed. Bingo. That's that. Okay, now before I carry into what's happening on this podcast, I want to just say that in the studio, we're going to cover how to do a podcast very simply and inexpensively. So if you don't have a big budget and you want to dabble in the podcasting world and you don't want to book a studio and you don't want to buy a fancy microphone and you don't want to do the things, you want to test the waters and record a couple of episodes and see if it hits, or just play around with it on YouTube. Like, I'm going to make a YouTube podcast and then just put it on the YouTube podcast section and see if it hits. I'm telling you, I have the ticket for you on how to do it inexpensively. And I am going to teach that in the studio only, though. That is where I'm going to teach it, because I'm going to put a nice long lesson. I'm going to attach like my process, the tools to use. If you don't want to buy this fancy microphone, when I travel on the go, I use my little portable microphone. I'm going to give you all the tips on how to do it, and then how to upload it, how the platforms work, how to make sure that when you put it on YouTube, it goes into the podcasting YouTube section and not just as a regular YouTube video. Because if you put it up as a regular YouTube video, it's not in the podcasting world on YouTube. So that doesn't help you. So there's all these things you need to know. And I am thrilled to be able to teach this, because one of the studio people asked me, and I was like, "Oh, you know what? I will teach a lesson. Like, this is great." So that is the plan. So if you want in on the studio, that is what's coming right away. That's my next task for the studio folks. I'm really excited about it. And we have had such a fun time in there. Even on the meetings are evolving differently. We have our next meeting is very beginner focused, but our previous meeting, we talked a little bit about this, and it was more of a brainstorming session. We were talking about the TikTok ban. So the minute something comes up, I address it with my folks in the meetings so that they don't have to feel worried. They have things to think about. They can start to make a plan. And that's the biggest thing that I love, is the sense of community that we have. So when we get on these meetings, everybody's sharing their thoughts and it becomes more collaborative, and it's excellent. So moving forward, our meetings they're evolving. It always is like that with something. Like, you realize something works well and people liked it. So the next time we're going to do a little more of that. So really pumped on that. And then that brings us into the topic for today, which is really how to diversify and think about what you want to do if TikTok goes away and you decide you don't want to go to the US version of TikTok. So I want to address that for a second. There's so much talk about it on TikTok right now, about like this new version of TikTok that's going to be US only people, which is really a bummer, I must say. It's my least favorite thing. It's almost like separating us from the rest of the world. That's just wrong. I don't know. It's wrong on so many levels. So I do think a lot of people are not going to just make that leap. They say that your followers are going to come with you. And how is that possible? Because how can your followers come if they haven't joined that app? You know what I'm saying? You know what doesn't make sense about that? I was thinking about it. I'm like, how are they going to bring your following over there? How do we know for me that the 1.1 million people who are following me are going to join that app. So it can't bring your followers. That makes no sense. Okay. So whoever said that is cuckoo crazy, or they're just talking out their booty. I'm being nice. All right. So Kara, did you hear that one? So now I'm really getting, I have to say, Kara, I'm speaking to you now. I hope you're listening. I'm so happy that you enjoyed the podcast. I like when my studio folks mention in the meetings that they listen here, and then I know, okay, that's who's listening to me, because I never know who's really listening to the podcast. So I'm here for it, and I'm excited about it. But yeah, and more speculation about it and how it's going to evolve and how you're going to be able to migrate doesn't make sense to me, because the people who are following me may not join that app. Also, P.S., of the people who are following me, many are not from the US. So they're not going to be able to go on that app. So of course, they're not going to be able to follow me over there. So that's a little bit of a lie. A little bit of a lie. That's probably a big lie. So there's that. And then there's the idea that the algorithm is going to be different. So it's not going to have that same sense of community. And honestly, the community that I have built on TikTok is so varied and worldwide that also bothers me. I feel like we're now going to be segregated. Oh my God, that's the word. Yeah, not a good word. Yikes. I hadn't even thought about it like that until now. Actually gets me a little sad and emotional. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's another reason why right now I'd say it's a no from me. So if you're listening to this now and the date is July 11th, you can pretty much know that a lot is going to have to change about it, or what I learn about it, before I take the leap over there, because it doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. So this is why I think what to do in the meantime. Think about what other channel you might enjoy and start putting a little bit of focus there. Think about a way to build community. And Julie and I are thinking about this now, how we can build Socialize to have a free section where there's a free chat. So at least the people that are connected with me on TikTok that might want to stay connected and be able to comment. And maybe, oh my God, I just had a great idea. I love when this happens, because we were talking about this in the studio this week. And I said, I'll make a free section of the studio. And I suddenly realized I can make a free section of the studio with all of the tutorials that I post publicly, and make that the free section of the studio. So I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to let you know how that goes, because I think that's going to be an important thing to build community with the content that I like to create and the teaching that I like to do, and put that into a free section. So it's free anyway, because it's on my public facing page. And inside the studio, on my paid subscribers, they're getting dedicated lessons, they're getting meetings with me, they're getting a lot more than that, because we're doing challenges, and it's also, they have a Q&A, so at any point they can ask me questions and I make them videos. It is more interactive with me directly on the paid part of the studio, and they know they can reach me anytime, and I really kind of like that. So I want to, that's always my priority, but I think that if I can create sort of my own, if I will say, like my own TikTok channel inside the studio, which is like a free area, I think that's what I'm going to try and focus on. So that's something for you to think about, food for thought. Now, with all this news and everybody's talking about it, like what should we do? It's always helpful to realize that a band, there's always going to be change. So when a band happened the first time, people started paying more attention to Instagram, and maybe they built an Instagram following. Maybe people went over and started a YouTube channel. I'm talking to you now, Amber, but I'm trying to suggest to people to try a YouTube channel. Just post a few videos up on YouTube and see if you can grow an audience. The difference between YouTube and TikTok is what we talked about in the studio too. And it came to me with YouTube, you're more like on stage. With TikTok, you're with people. So that's how I look at the difference. I feel like I don't have as much connection with the people who comment on my YouTube videos. Sometimes I do, because I know who they are. They're from TikTok, so I know them, their usernames. But a lot of times it's just random people commenting, and it doesn't feel as community-based. So TikTok, community, YouTube, the stage. But if you're on TikTok already, you are sort of on stage for your audience, even though you're more personal about it. So you can really do the same thing and start to build over there if that's something that interests you. What I also loved, this is new news, by the way, oh my God, is that on July 15th, there is a thing where on YouTube, they are not going to monetize any videos on YouTube that were created with AI. They are a real people focused channel or platform. And if you think about that, listen, YouTube has always been the forefront. It's been the steady. It's like, even with TikTok being so popular, YouTube has always been a constant. You always knew what you were getting. You can count on it. And so if I'm going to say somebody doesn't really love Instagram, fine, don't do Instagram. Like, lean to YouTube, because I feel that they always seem to be ahead of the curve. The fact that just what they're doing with this AI, the rule, they're not going to pay people for AI videos. Freaking great. That is clutch. I'm so happy about that. It was like the best news of the day when I saw that this morning. I was like, hell yeah. Because they're just valuing real people, and they're setting their statement, they're setting the bar, and they're prioritizing creators. And they have always done that. So I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to, if you want to, join on and focus on YouTube. Oh, by the way, I already have a YouTube 101 lesson inside the studio. So if you want to try the studio for 7 days and watch that lesson and see what we do inside there, that could be really beneficial if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, or you want to understand how YouTube works. So YouTube 101 inside the studio. I think that the creators who are going to succeed the most if TikTok goes away are the ones that have the loyal, committed fan base. They have loyal followers that are going to look for them anyway. They have created connection, and maybe they've built a newsletter. Another great thing to do. If you haven't done it, you still have time, because in theory, TikTok's not going away until March. That's a lot of months, but we have almost like a half a year. And I know September, well, what's March? March is when it's not going to be available. September is when the new app's coming. I don't know what the timeline is, but in any case, you still have time. Even if it's September, you still have time. Start building your newsletter list. Or it doesn't even have to be a newsletter. Just get the emails so that you can reach people. And eventually when you create a thing where you say, if you want to download this PDF about fashion, or how to reinvent your style, or how to, create healthier hair, or download my free PDF, blah, blah, blah. You'll get people's emails, and then at least you'll have people that you can reach if you decide to move somewhere else. Okay, getting that connection with your audience in another way is really how you want to evolve moving forward. Now, I'm not going to reiterate everything I said in the newsletter, because there's no point in me coming on here and just saying the same things. But I think what we've got to think about as creators is what our next, what we're going to lean into. And here's an example. Oh, let me see how I can say this, because somebody like me, I want to lean more into my community and my teaching. And so if I don't have TikTok to amplify my voice by getting that message out there, I will find other avenues to get my message out there. But my priority is going to be my community. And other people might say, hey, my priority is now going to be building a podcast. And so you can learn that in the studio, how to do it. Somebody else might say, okay, now my thing is going to be blogging. I'm going to pay more attention to my blog, and how can I monetize my blog? I have someone in the studio, Amber. Hello, other Amber, who is she's been an Amazon associate from the beginning. So guess what? Maybe she'll lean more back into her Amazon associates thing. So depending on what your focus or your passion or your joy is, that's where you're going to lean. And if you're somebody like Kara, who has the corgi, and hi Kara again. I mean, she's got the corgi. So she can really decide, like, I'm going to build, and I'm going to try and maybe now monetize more on Instagram. And she's going to lean more into, she's got an Instagram audience, she's got a YouTube audience, and figure out what matters to her. And maybe it's just building, and maybe it is building a community of corgi besties. I mean, you don't have to build a paid community. You can go onto these networks. Mighty Networks is what we use for our community. You could go on there and you can build a free one. And then that's so easy to talk. When it's free, people are like, why wouldn't they sign up for it? So you could start with a free community and then evolve into something. But it's like finding your outlet to what you like the most. That is the point of what you should use this TikTok ban nightmare situation as a catalyst for, to really decide what you love the most and what you want to lean towards if this changes. Anyway, that's it for today. It's a little It's heartfelt, but it's also, let me say it again. Anyway, that's it for today. I really have been thinking a lot about it and what my priorities are going to be. And believe it or not, I'm going to lean into doing ads soon. I think I'm going to try going down the path of advertising and see. I mean, I do it for the brands I'm working for. So I'm going to take my skill set and move into that area potentially. Hold on. Anyway, that's it for today. I think that hopefully I've given you things to think about and a way to process it. Instead of looking for the other TikTok, it's looking for what you want to do next. Like, what part of TikTok did you like the most? And therefore, where can you then take that to build on it? So using the part that you liked to decide what your next focus is. Have a great weekend. I hopefully have given you some things to think about, and take your time and don't be stressed, and always know that I'm here for it. So if you join the community and you want to come into the chat and feel support, I'm always in there trying to help everyone with whatever their concerns are and allay the fears about things. I think that if we're all in it together, we are stronger. All right. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening.